Well, welcome to Oliver, British Columbia, the beautiful Area 27, this picturesque road course situated in between wineries in the Okanagan Valley. I am Cole Sorensen, and joined alongside by Joe Chisholm here for this, the final two races of the Avion Super Seal RS1 Cup Series for the 2022 season. Joe, driver's just going through the drivers' meeting as we speak, and a lot on the table for today's racing action.
Oh, this one here, Cole, is for all the marbles. It all comes down to today. So, Cole, just before we get things fired off here, we do have Ingo down on pit road. He is going to get a couple quick words with our point leader, the 09 Super Seal Chevrolet of Riley Siebert. Riley, how you feeling about today's race?
Feeling pretty relaxed. It's a big day. It's early. I got some coffee in me, and yeah, we're feeling good. I was out here yesterday getting some laps in just to make sure everything's tidied right up on the car, and it's good to go.
So the points are pretty tight there, Riley. What are you thinking? Any point strategy that you're going to be displaying here today?
Well, I ran through the points last couple of weeks or whatever, looking at different situations, and it looks like if I average a third across, qualifying in 2 races, I should be okay. That'll be, and then of course my person I'm battling, Sean, he has to win everything to get anywhere. So. We got an 8-point spread right now, and if I finish just 2 places behind him in all 3 little events there, that would only be 6 points, and I'd still win it. So we got to make sure that we average that kind of finish.
Well, an 8-point lead isn't that much, but let's see how Riley Siebert makes out today. He's going to have to be bang on. Now, Ingo's going to catch up with the number 24 of Sean McIntosh. Ingo, take it away.
Sean, you've had a great year. You dominate out here on this course, and you're in second place chasing Riley. You got a bit of a strategy you're going to put out there today?
Well, first, got to go out and practice and learn how to turn right. It feels like so long since we've been on a road course, but really it's just focus on one race at a time, right? Riley's got a pretty good advantage in the points, so it's really going to be, I probably need some luck today, but the goal is just to go out and try and put on the pole right away and go for those races.
The weather's a little bit cooler, and you got 2 races going. Do you have any kind of tire strategy you're thinking of?
I actually just said to my dad, I think we're okay on tires. I can do a few more laps in practice. One, just to warm myself up a little bit, but I don't think it will play as much of a factor here.
Ingo Seaver is down there catching up. I believe Noel Dowler is up next on his hit list.
Well, you're having a great year so far. You're really showing people your long distance.
I'm feeling quite great about it today, actually. It's a great track. Had some success here. Didn't have the best luck at the beginning of the year with some mechanical failures, but strong season's been put together, so can make a push for it today.
You've got 2 races to do it. Do you have any tire strategy that you're thinking about?
No, not today. Usually I do a little tire conservative racing for the ovals and maybe the first race of the year, but not today. Today it's full-on race mode.
Good stuff. We appreciate your time, Noel, and good luck today, and hopefully you'll find where you're from.
Thanks, Ed.
There was Noel Dowler in car number 35. Of course, Joe Stackfield heading out right now onto the racetrack.
This beautiful facility, all co-designed by Jacques Villeneuve and Trevor Siebert. You'll see him today in the 69 car.
It gives these drivers a lot of challenges, from fast flowing corners to hairpins as well as elevation change.
Absolutely, Cole. I'll tell you, the pucker meter will be set off here today a number of times as these drivers take to the 16-turn Grand Prix style racetrack. What a hidden gem.
Jesse Webb, the 94 car that you can see there, has been very impressive in his rookie season with the RS1 series, having no real stock car racing experience before this year, but taking out a win in his first ever RS1 series race show.
Absolutely. He will be thinking right now back to early June, where things got kicked off here in Oliver, BC. He is a quick study. Cole, we've watched him clear across this RS1 Cup Series this year. What an impressive young driver.
He is impressive, and he is starting on pole with Noel Dowler to his outside. Then it is the 69 of Trevor Siebert on the inside of row 2. There you can see Noel kind of shoving his tires in, trying to get them ready for the first of 2 twin races here at Area 27. As the pace car pulls off, you get a look at that final left, right, left chicane, or rather S-section, uphill S-section that leads on the front straight. Here at Area 27, field is nice and tightly bunched. The second to last race of the 2022 season is green out of the final corner, and Jesse Webb and Noel Dowler will try and drag race for position and play a late braking contest. It's a bit of a twitch from everybody still on cold tires as Jesse Webb takes the lead. Siebert getting sideways, a little bit of smoke there, Joe, coming out of Jesse Webb's car, and I think, maybe little bit of problems already, but looks like the smoke has cleared itself up there, Joe.
Yeah, just heating it up. That's all he's doing. Getting those Goodyears nice and tacky. You need heat in the tires. It looks like he's really burning down the backstretch now. We've got long straightaways here. There are the longest one, Cole, 800 meters. That's a half mile in distance. Can you imagine how fast you could let a car go down there, half mile to the floor in one of these RS1 Cup cars? They can really get it going as the 99 goes for a little bit of a twirl.
Yeah, that was Ken Moskowitz, who's no stranger to going fast in the straight line with his drag racing background. Unfortunately, looping around the number 99 car. Not bringing out a full course yellow, of course, local yellows here in road racing. A lot of smoke coming out from Jesse Webb's car right now. We're seeing from the race director that could be an axle seal leaking on the number 94 machine, so hopefully that clears up for Jesse Webb as Noel Dowler has spotted himself into the second spot. Trevor Siebert in third. One of the McIntoshes, I believe that's the 24 of Sean McIntosh in fourth. Cameron Haley trying to work his way up through the field in the cabinets by Haley, number 42 car. And Cameron, Joe, another exciting addition to the RS1 series this year for 2022.
What an addition, and how refreshing to see Cameron Haley back behind the wheel of a race car. Of course, he was down in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, doing a great job down there. He come back into Calgary, and he's back up on this side of the border now, and he is in the RS1 Cup Series. Great to see Cameron Haley any time in a race car, but really refreshing to see him back in a race car, and we get a chance to see him.
Sean McIntosh on board with the 24 car at the moment, currently running in the fourth spot. You get a look there, Jesse Webb still with a little bit of smoke coming out of the number 94 machine. Somebody dipping there, looked like Riley Siebert kind of dipping some tires off into the dirt there as he came out of the first turn, as Noel Dowler getting a look at Jesse Webb, who is still disappearing and getting smaller and smaller out of Dowler's windshield, even though the 94 car continues to give hints of smoke. Trevor Siebert sticking right with those top two. And Joe, Trevor has not really had the season that he would have wanted in this 96 car. He's kind of struggling, but is in a podium spot right now.
He sure is, Cole, and you know, he picked up the win back at Penticton Speedway in August, and good to see him get that one win. He's been chomping at the bit. He was on the podium the last time here at Area 27. You got to know Trevor Siebert is really looking for a good day here today.
And Trevor did like salvaging his season with the win at Penticton Speedway, as Noel Dowler is starting to close in just a little bit. I said that Jesse Webb was disappearing out of his windshield. Well, that has changed. You get a look at some of the cars at the tail end of the field. Kane Fraser, Sheldon Mayer, former late model regular in the north of British Columbia, as Riley Siebert is closing up in on Sean McIntosh in the 24 car for the fourth spot. Cameron Haley still trying to sort his way up through the field. You got to wonder how long it's been for Cameron Haley since he has run on a road course. In fact, Joe, I think that probably would have been at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park with the Truck Series back in those days.
As a matter of fact, Cole, I was there the last time he was on a road course in that truck at CTMP, as we've got a move. Cameron Haley putting a big move on the 35 car.
And, I think that was a 53, Adam Dowler. But, of course, the quality care scheme's thrown it back to Dad Kevin back in the cast car days. They have them switched around here as Cameron Haley continuing his charge up through the field. And I mentioned Kevin Dowler. Kevin in the 64 car for this race, getting passed by Cameron Haley. As Sean McIntosh making the move on Trevor Siebert. He's got the run down that very long straightaway, and look who's in the slipstream in the draft. Riley Siebert in the 09, giving Sean a little tap there, Joe. And as a road racer, I don't think Sean's, well, maybe he's got used to the contact from running the ovals there, but getting a little tap up the backside isn't something you do in a Formula car.
You try not to do that. The Super Seal machine getting a little antsy, so to speak. Riley Siebert wants to get moving, and Sean is sort of running in that line that Riley would like to be in. I'll tell you, Riley's going to have to earn it, and earn it he will with the 24 of Sean McIntosh, a real tough competitor on these twisty, tight racetracks.
And even though I don't think the officials are reporting any fluid down, you think that Noel Dowler, Joe, is screaming on his radio, hey, this 94 car is smoking, get him out of my way?
You can bet he is doing everything trying to get the officials to have a look at that number 94 car and get him off the speedway. But the officials already in tune. The Avion Motorsports guys chatting on the radio saying, just an axle seal leak. Boys, keep her going. Jesse, don't worry about a thing. And that's a good thing, Cole. Jesse won't be able to see that smoke coming out the back end of the race car unless he's looking in the mirror and you're at area 27. I'm pretty sure your eyes are peeled right out that windshield.
And Jesse is going to be doing, well, just that, looking out the windshield, trying to get a gap and maintain that gap over Noel Dowlers. We get a look on board Trevor Siebert. We mentioned Trevor was in third, unfortunately slipping back into the fifth position as Sean McIntosh has found his way up to third. Riley Siebert right behind him in car number 09 is Jesse Webb able to hold off Noel Dowler for the moment, but Dowler is getting closer and closer. Dowler mentioning in his pre-race interview that he hasn't quite had the luck as, Jesse Webb a little bit wide going into one there, might have the luck that Dowler needs, but Dowler goes wide. Actually, a rock kicking up and breaking the lens on the onboard GoPro for Noel Dowler, who is still in hot pursuit of the number 94 of Jesse Webb. So looks like we're going to have maybe the top four really starting to close in here on Jesse, who's just having one or two little tiny slip-ups there in the number 94 car, Joe.
He sure has. Look at the field right now as they run on the racetrack, Cole. You got first and second, they're running real tight together. You got third, fourth, they're pretty well glued together. And then you got the old wily veteran in Trevor Siebert, kind of looking out the windshield, seeing what's going on with those other two spots. Look for him to jump into this battle here before we hit the checkered flag.
Speaking of battles, here comes Riley Siebert to the inside, trading some paint with Sean McIntosh. McIntosh, though, using the outside momentum to kind of slingshot back around Siebert as Riley will tuck back into the Super Seal, easy for me to say, number 09 car back into that fourth spot. Trevor Siebert, Riley's dad, as you mentioned, the veteran driver, tucked back in as we get a look on board of Jason White, the number 33 car. Jason has been out here for the full RS1 series season for 2022, of course, with plenty of experience on big racetracks and big speed, and also road course experience in the Camping World Truck Series.
Yeah, he's got a busy schedule. I do believe he's going to take a shot at Talladega a little bit later here when Talladega comes up. But definitely Jason White from Sun Peaks, BC, has got the experience needed. He'll be loving the speed of Area 27 and that long back straightaway. It'll remind him somewhat of Daytona, I would imagine, or Talladega, something like that. But up front, how about a Jesse Webb doing a great job behind the wheel of that 94 car. So impressed with this young driver.
And Jesse is up on the wheel, starting to lengthen that gap. You got to look at Mark McIntosh in the 31 car. Heino Siebert, and Jason White spinning out the 33 car. Problems for Jason. He'll do a quick 360, get it pointed in the right direction, and we will stay green. But you see a situation with a little bit of wheel hop maybe there for Jason. Got into the corner just a little bit too hot, Joe.
Yeah, that was another quick look at it. As you can see, Jason loves keeping his foot to the floor. Even when he's twirling around, he tends not to lose a lot of spots. We've seen him do it at Penticton Speedway, and I've seen Jason White in a lot of different disciplines of racing, and watching him through his career. Jason White is a true professional behind the wheel of a race car. He keeps the momentum up. You don't see that guy lose many spots, if he loses a spot at all. And the 33 car is back underway.
Well, as the field sorts itself out here in these early few laps, we'll take a quick commercial break and come back with more exciting RS1 Cup Series action from Area 27. Well, welcome back to Area 27. The battle for the lead tightening up with the top four. Joe Chisholm running nose to tail as Riley Siebert making his presence known for the third place battle.
Absolutely, Cole Sorensen. We have got a dogfight here at Area 27. It is the season finale here today at Area 27 for the RS1 Cup Series. All for those cherished Super Seal Championship points. The pay window's going to open. You know these guys are up on the wheel. She's all elbows up.
Just saw before we switched back over here to Cameron Haley that Sean McIntosh made his way up into the second spot with a pretty impressive move on Noel Dowler as the 24. The Cabinets by Haley machine is closing up in on the 33 rather than 42. I got my numbers flipped around there for Cameron. Is closing up for 10th on Jason White. Back up at the front, though, it is still Jesse Webb, but he has a new challenger for the race lead, Sean McIntosh, in the 24 car, and that's silver number 24 and white with a little bit of red trim. Really closing up is Noel Dowler kicking the tail out, allowing Riley Siebert up into the third spot. Sean McIntosh getting closer than Dowler was able to already after only about half a lap behind Jesse Webb. You can see Sean being very aggressive with the curbs there, Joe.
He sure is. And speaking of the last name McIntosh, Cole, we got to point back to that sixth spot right now. Mark McIntosh has been incredibly coming. Every race this year, Mark is picking it up. He's getting closer. He is going to be on the podium one of these days. I wouldn't doubt you're going to see him with a checkered flag. Could even be today.
And Mark, unlike family member Sean, not with extensive experience behind the wheel of a race car before he climbed into the RS1 Cup Series, he did have experience in karting, but Mark really taking to these RS1 Series cars as Cameron Haley challenging Jason White right now, the number 42, trying to close back in on the 33 and not get on the back door of the 94. That is Sean McIntosh in the 24 car. He has got to within 2 car lengths as Jesse Webb with the better run out of the hairpin. Elisa Alexis, though, in the 12 car is spinning out as Sean McIntosh getting a look there as we wait for Elisa to get that car pointed in the right direction, really put the pressure on the number 94 of Jesse Webb as Cameron Haley making the move for the 10th spot in the 42 car. McIntosh having to tuck back in behind the number 94, and Riley Siebert, Joe, is loving this battle that is going to get very heated as Webb goes wide, and McIntosh will take the lead in the number 24. Here comes the number 94, trying to crisscross the 24 of McIntosh as they head down that long straightaway, and Riley Siebert will try and take a peek now on McIntosh for second. Oh, they make contact. McIntosh tried to close the door. Instead, he goes dirt tracking through that fast sweeping left-hander, and now Riley Siebert, Joe, is up into second. Jesse Webb in first, back into first, and Sean McIntosh's fortunes sure changed in a hurry.
Hey, they sure did. There is action all over this racetrack, up front, in the middle, at the back. They're racing everywhere. The 94 of Jesse Webb doing a great job. Let's have a look at this replay. And it does look like the 09 just got into the side of the 24. Look at McIntosh still hanging on to that race car. Most drivers would have lost it big time right there, Cole. Not the 24.
Yes, somehow Sean McIntosh feeding it a whole lot of opposite lock and keeping that 24 car from completely rotating around. He's back up and running, but I think some damage to the rear end of the 24 of McIntosh, so problems for Sean, but no problems for Jesse Webb and Riley Siebert. The top two have pulled away from the rest of the pack, and now Siebert will set his sights on the back bumper of the 94 car of Jesse Webb as they work their way down the short chute. The battle for the lead, you won't miss a second of it here. We'll go to a quick commercial break and get back with more RS1 Series action here at Area 27.
And welcome back, everyone, back here to Area 27 in today's RS1 Cup Series finale. This is race number 9. Race number 10 still to come. The distance, 12 laps, and they're closing in on it, Cole Sorensen. Everything's getting tight. We got the 94 in the lead if you just joined us, and the 09 of Riley Siebert, the point leader in the RS1 Cup Series, is really tracking them down.
Getting a look also in the right-hand corner of your screen at Sean McIntosh, who was battling for the lead, but McIntosh with problems in the 24 car and pulls behind the pit wall. So Sean McIntosh, his first race coming to an early end, but Jesse Webb kicking the tail out again a little bit in the number 94 car as Riley Siebert is closing right in, the Super Seal number 09, trying to find a way around Jesse Webb. And you can see, Joe, that Jesse's just kicking the tail out a little bit more. Riley getting the car out of the corners a little bit straighter as he puts the pressure on the race leader.
Yeah, you drive a little different when you're the guy out front or you're the guy chasing. There's a little bit of difference between, you know, the two different driving styles. You want to try and block the lane a wee bit. And with the 09, you want to try and take as much real estate as you can and keep the momentum up to hopefully do the big pounce and jump the 94 car and try and get the lead to this race. You know Riley Siebert wants to take that Super Seal car to victory lane here and keep that point momentum going. And it's just an incredible race all the way through here as he pulls right up on the rear deck lid of the 94 car. But look at Jesse Webb. He's just got that little bit more coming off those turns.
And Riley Siebert is going to be watching the 94 car, studying which lines he's taking, where he gets it a little bit out of shape, and he's going to put that all into play here in these last few laps of race number 1 as he continues to stalk Jesse Webb up in front of Cameron Haley. A little bit of contact between Jack Herniuk and the number 17 car as they'll get the 17 point in the right direction, and Cameron Haley will try and get around the outside of Herniuk in the number 01 car for that position. So Cameron Haley going 2 for 1 there position-wise. In the 42 cars, we had back up front with Riley Siebert sitting in second, giving us these great onboard shots again down that long straight, closing in under braking. Look at how much speed he carries through that left-hander, Joe. He's going to be right with Jesse Webb.
Well, if you got it, you got to use it. You can't think about race number 2 with these RS1 Cup Series cars. Just so you know, if you're just tuned in, the 4 tires you start today's race on are going to be the same 4 tires you're going to finish not only this race, but the next one that's coming up to finish the season off. So you got to somewhat protect those good years. But in the same respect, you want the W if you can get it. And it looks like Riley is going to make a move up the inside of the 94. Jesse Webb comes through the right-hander, and it doesn't look like Riley's going to be able to do it just yet.
Riley having to tuck back in line, and the number 09 showing some battle scars from that contact with McIntosh, but sticking right with Webb. Webb running it in wide. You can see he had to make a big correction, but Siebert will be on the non-preferred line, let's say, for that right-hander. Tucks back in. Over this crest of the hill, the cars get very light, but Jesse Webb puts his race car firmly planted in the middle of the racetrack to prevent Siebert from making a move and getting that crisscross coming down this short chute that leads into the final set of turns here at Area 27. You can see the braking marker points where these drivers will lay on the brakes, feed the cars in through this final set of corners, and what a very interesting complex this is Siebert getting a piece of the back bumper of Jesse Webb, but Webb able to gather it back up, and Siebert, to his credit, giving Jesse plenty of room to get that car kind of pointed in the right direction and avoid any dramas there.
And that is the short track sort of side of Riley Siebert coming out. The 94, Jesse Webb says, hey, I've seen this game. I've been racing you guys all summer. A little bit of contact isn't that bad. He can absorb it, and they keep it under control. Quick onboard here with Jason White as he continues to try and march his way towards the front.
Great to get a look at all these battles, too, throughout the pack as drivers make their way either from little mistakes back up through the pack or poor qualifying runs trying to battle their way through. Two drivers that did not have poor qualifying runs that started right up at the front of the field and continue to run up at the front of the field. Jesse Webb, Riley Siebert running nose to tail, and you got to wonder how much time Webb in the 94 car is spending in the rear view mirror. Down here with Sean McIntosh, though, for a quick word as you watch the battle for the lead.
Not the best day today. Had an issue with the clutch, I think. I don't know, we're not sure, we're just like taking it out, but it's still up to the lead. I was just going to limp it home. Definitely was lacking some speed compared to normal. And then my rear view mirror fell off, so that I didn't know who was behind me, and the 09 there hit me pretty hard and went off the track, and then at that point the clutch started getting worse. So it is what it is. That's racing, right? Thanks, Sean. Yeah, no problem.
You know, Cole, I'd be scared right now if I was the 09 car. As the 09 and the 94 continue to battle, whenever you see a competitor that you just bounced out has got a smile on his face, you got to really, really wonder. But that is a true short track professional as we get a lead change, as we head into the tights.
Yes, and Jesse Webb looked like he might have missed a shift, but Riley Siebert taking that and getting ahead in the final set of corners as Riley Siebert comes out of that final left-hander. Jesse Webb tucked in behind. There's a checkered flag. The race is over, and Riley Siebert, Joe, with the last lap pass, and Jesse Webb unfortunately missing a shift, and that's all it took for Siebert, who is firmly planted on his rear bumper this entire race, Joe.
Oh, man, what a heartbreak for Jesse Webb. But, you know, that's part of the learning experience.
And there's a look at the top 10 and the rest of the running orders. You get a look down past the top 10. Andrew Dobby making his series debut, the number 90 car finishing 11th. Adam Dowler, Gary Woods, Brian Weavers, Ingo Siebert. There are the final few finishers there. Obviously, Sean McIntosh finishing in the 22nd and final position in the 24 car. Jay Logie not getting out on track for the start of race number 1 as the field pulls into the pit area. The Avion Motorsports crew will have to go to work here. A quick turnaround in between races. You can see Sean McIntosh's car behind the pit wall there with all 4 tires off of it as the crew really going to work, and they will have a lot to do to get that car back up and running. As we'll get a quick word with Riley Siebert, winner of race number 1, climbing out of the 09 car, ecstatic down there in victory lane.
Congratulations, man. What happened? How was that race for you?
What a battle. Jesse Webb drove an unreal race. You know, he started on the front row, but he did everything he needed to do to put himself in the position to win. He drove super defensively and really well on the last couple laps there. I tested him a lot, and then I don't know, I think maybe he just missed a shift between 12 and 13. I just drove around him and onto the win. So first road course win in a long time, and it's good to add the W to the list of W's this year for the ovals and stuff like that. And with that, I'm pretty sure that clinches the championship. No chance of anything else. So pretty happy with that one.
A dynamite run for the 09 of Riley Siebert. Man, what else can you say? He had to capitalize, and he had to be there to do it. And definitely the 09 Super Seal car was right there. Jesse Webb now.
Yeah, so the whole race, the car had its issues. Right off the bat, we had a tire, it's actually transmission. One of the, it was spewing oil, so the whole cockpit was filling up with smoke the entire time, well, about 3/4 of the race. And then, you know, about halfway through the race, to maybe even a little bit earlier than that, we started to have some transmission issues. The car was not wanting to go into the gears, and it ended up costing me the race. I led the entire race until the last final straightaway. Coming from second into third, I could feel the gear go into the gate, but it wouldn't actually push into the gear, and I had to take it out again and slam it in. And by that time, Riley had blown by me, and there was no shot at me catching him by the end of the next 4 corners. So it's really unfortunate to lose a race like that, but there's still another race to go, and hopefully we can win that one.
Tough break there for Jesse Webb, a driver who had to fight through adversity. Another driver that had to fight through some adversity was Jason White, salvaging a top 10 run.
Yeah, once again, just another fun day of racing here at Area 27. We had a few problems in practice with some, we had a bent wheel, so we had to deal with some of that. Got out, got one lap in on qualifying, and qualified not too bad, nothing like Riley out there. There's a firecracker out there, but we started the race really well, was having a lot of good battles, and started to get some brake fade a little bit, so we've made an adjustment on the brakes and bled the brakes and see if in the next race we can get up there and again have some fun, but also see how many positions we can pick up and get in the top 5.
Awesome. So coming into the second race, that's going to be your goal for the second race here?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this long enough in the long term, but also here at Area 27 for the season. I can see that, you know, there's 4 or 5 cars up there that are pretty wicked fast, and I'm just going to try and pick my moments to get up into the top 5, and if we can get there, we'll be really happy for sure.
Jason, it's the last stop of the year. Should we plan on seeing you next year? Yes or no? What do you think?
I'm sure you'll see me in some capacity. I'm off to Talladega in 2 weeks to run the truck series, so that's kind of my focus right now. And then I always wait until after Christmas to start making my plans for racing for the next year. So we'll see what happens, but I'm sure we'll be in here some capacity for sure.
Awesome, Jason. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Jason White, one of those guys. I'll tell you, we're really going to have to keep our eye on that 33 car for race number 2. Even though we went for a wee bit of a twirl in race number 1, that was into the dirt. Didn't really hurt those Goodyears, I don't think, Cole.
I don't think it hurt them too much at all, and with those brake bias issues sorted, I think Jason should have a fun time charging up through the field. You can see the cars are lining up, getting ready for race number 2. You're not going to miss a second of the action. Again, we'll be back with the final race of the 2022 season after the break.
And welcome back, everyone, to Area 27 as the Camaro pace car starts to roll for the Avion Motorsports RS1 Super Seal Cup Series. It's the final 12 laps for these competitors. Everybody wants to win. This is the last chance you get to pick up one of those trophies, and they're going to have to beat the best. Riley Siebert's going to roll this one from the pole.
And that is the honor that you get if you do well in the first race of the twin races that these RS1 cars have and run throughout the season. And Riley Siebert will love that clear racetrack in front of him for this, the final race of the 2022 season. And what a series and season it has been, as Jesse Webb will take his place up at the front of the pack in the number 94 car. Again, you mentioned, we heard in the interview that Jesse saying he missed his shift with some of the transmission problems that he had with the smoke earlier on in the race. Just feeling it go into the gate, but not actually going into gear. And just that little bobble joke cost him the win and potentially delaying the points battle here into this final race.
Well, that's how tight the competition is in the RS1 Cup Series. You know, just one little mistake can cost you a race, and that just proved it right there for the 94. If you're just joining us now, in race number 1, the 24 car went off the speedway. He's got trouble with that race car. He won't be in the 24 for this one. He's in a backup car. He's going to be piloting the 12, so keep your eyes peeled for the 12 car.
Keeping with the McIntosh theme, getting ready to go green. Mark McIntosh, your onboard camera starting back on row number 3. And Sean's sister Elisa giving him her ride for this race. The number 12 car, as Joe mentioned earlier, Riley Siebert getting ready to lead the field to the green for race number 2 to put a cap on the season. As Jesse Webb, the outside of the front row, green flags out. Looks like Riley Siebert with the early advantage. Jesse sticking right with him, though, going into that first corner. And Joe, the road really falls away from you there, right in the braking zone, and can make the rear end get pretty light. So very interesting first turn, but there is Jesse Webb sticking tough on the outside. Joe, is he going to be able to go side by side with Riley?
What did you learn in race number 1? Well, I can tell you the 94 car learned a lot, but he was in clean air for most of that run, all but one lap. Now, the 09 car is the guy that is the rabbit. He's the one being chased. Let's see what the 94 car can do, as Jesse Webb just poked the bear in the 69 car of Trevor Siebert. You don't want to do that too many times, as the cars are all bunched up for that second spot. The 09 of Riley Siebert in that Super Seal machine is somewhat gone. Look at the contact that these guys are doing going down the speedway.
And Trevor Siebert, you mentioned Jesse Webb poking the bear there. Noel Dowler was doing the exact same thing to Trevor Siebert, making a bit of contact. Cameron Haley just saw at the tail end of that last shot, managed to sneak up the inside of Trevor, but Riley Siebert has really pulled a gap with all of that going on back behind him, and Jesse Webb slotting into the second spot. But unlike the first race, Riley Siebert is out in front. He has a considerable amount of breathing room. Jesse Webb had, well, pretty much a car behind him by about 2 car lengths behind him the entirety of the last race. So Riley Siebert, the first race leader that we have seen, able to open up a gap over that second place driver.
Yeah, the single file right now. Whoa, as we got a car going around on the, just as we start the 33 car of Jason White, and a bunch of his friends. They're all getting tangled up down in the corner, but everybody rides it, and they continue on.
There's Trevor Siebert getting passed by Cameron Haley. Cameron, in the 42 car, managed to work his way inside of the top 10, is continuing to sort his way through the field, now sitting in the 5th spot. So already race number 2 off to a better start. Jesse Webb running wide going into turn number 1, and that allows Noel Dowler to the inside, and that is turn 1 again being the problem area for a few drivers. And Jesse, who had a moment or 2 in turn number 1 the last race, also getting sideways here in race number 2, is he and Dowler will continue their battle just out of shot. But there's Riley Siebert out in front. There you can see that Noel Dowler has slotted in line behind Jesse Webb. And last race, Joe, you were kind of singing the praises of Mark McIntosh, and look at him having a strong run. The 31 car sitting in 4th.
Yeah, tiptoeing his way right up towards the front of this field, and good on Mark for doing it. He's come a long way this year, and he is going to be one of the future stars of this RS1 Cup Series. You can just about guarantee it. Cole, this racetrack is 40 feet wide all the way around. It doesn't widen out here and, narrow up there. It's 40 feet all the way around. You got enough for side-by-side. One thing you don't have room for is 3 wide when you're heading into a turn. I think that would spell disaster.
Well, I think some guys might try that and then think better of it, which we haven't seen so far, but there's still plenty of time for that to happen. With the close racing the RS1 Series season, as Trevor Siebert is trying to mount a charge back on the 42 of Cameron Haley, and all of these drivers using up all of that real estate here, as Mark McIntosh is starting to close in on 2nd and 3rd place running Jesse Webb and Noel Dowler respectively, as Riley Siebert really opening up a gap in the 09, showing why he has pretty much clinched the championship for the 2022 season, which has been a year to remember. Multiple wins in the RS1 Series for the season, as well as the Western Rattler 300 win to kick things off at the Penticton Speedway, Joe.
Yeah, it's been a big year for the young driver of that 09 car. Riley Siebert has been there, done that, and he's really put an exclamation mark on the season with all the successes he has had. Good to see. You know, when you earn it, it feels good, and Riley has definitely earned every accolade that has been coming his way. One thing he's not going to want to do here, Cole, I think the spotter will be laying it on and saying to Riley right now, hey, bud, save me a bit. If yellow comes out and that 94 car and, you know, the other guys all start bunching in here, you don't want to have used it all up. You need to save me a little bit. But the 09 car definitely on a tear right now with about, I don't know, I think it looks like around a 3-second lead right now.
He is really stretching it out, and Jesse Webb, he had a shot on board the 94 car earlier, and it was just a tiny little black speck in the distance. Almost didn't even look like anybody was in front of the number 94 car, but this is the guy out in front with a nice clear view out of his windshield, 09. Riley Siebert negotiating that last real slow corner in that left-hander that leads into the quick downhill right, quick little up over the crest, and Jesse Webb, as I was mentioning, little speck out that windshield is Riley Siebert as he got a shot. Tail end of that shot was the 12 of Sean McIntosh, who was working his way up through the field as Jesse Webb now again having to play catch-up with Riley Siebert, the race leader. Webb back there in second to get a view of just how big that gap is. And at the tail end of that, the top 5, really from second on back, is pretty much within a second or two of each other there, Joe, as Adam Dowler in the pits.
Yeah, they're going to work. The Avion Motorsports crew is jacking the 53 car up. They'll have a look and see if they can get him back on the speedway. Just maybe let you know, if you're tuned into us here today, the Avion Motorsports team actually takes care of each and every one of these race cars. With this series, the drivers arrive with their helmet in hand, they put it on, they get in the car, and away they go. Avion Motorsports takes care of absolutely everything else with these cars. If you're planning your holidays next year, you gotta stop. And you're coming out to BC, you gotta check out the RS1 Cup Series. And if you're a driver, you want to get involved with this, it's easy to do. Just get to avionmotorsports.com and check it out.
And a guy that did get involved with the series, Cameron Haley, saw him, as we were talking about Adam Dowler in the pits, making a move on Mark McIntosh for the 4th spot, as Trevor Siebert riding back there in the number 69 car at the tail end of the top 5. And Cameron Haley will see if he can kind of bridge that gap up to 3rd place running Noel Dowler in the 35 right now, as Jesse Webb still riding around in the 2nd spot. There is the 17 Brad Clark running around towards the tail end of the field as Riley Siebert again. That big gap you mentioned, Joe, around 2.5 seconds out ahead of Jesse Webb. So Noel Dowler back in 3rd, Cameron Haley 4th, Mark McIntosh in 5th. And I just saw at the tail end of the shot, the 12th car around the 7th spot. Yes, Sean McIntosh is in 7th, Joe. So he is on a tear up through the field.
Oh yeah, he's working his way through. You got to expect Sean to make the moves to get himself back into position. He wants that final victory of the year, and this is it. This is the final race of 2022 in the RS1 Cup Series. Of course, all presented and for those Super Seal Championship points. And what a race here today. Beautiful day in BC. Chamber of Commerce weather, so to speak. And I don't think, Cole, that Riley got the message from the spotter saying, hey, save me a bit. It looks like Riley's still pulling it and putting it on.
Man, he is stretching this thing out. And right now, be a good time. Head to another commercial break, and we'll come back with more RS1 Series action as we look to crown the champion for 2022.
And welcome back, everybody, here to the RS1 Cup Series finale. I'm Joe Chisholm along with Cole Sorensen for today's action. Cole, this has been one that has seen a little bit of contact at the beginning of the race, but it seems like teams have settled down. They're all finding their spot on the racetrack to run, and guys are making up spots.
It has been clean and green so far, as there is Sean McIntosh getting in the backup, number 12, and Riley Siebert, who's had this view for the entire race so far. Just nice Okanagan Valley scenery. We mentioned Chamber of Commerce weather, and it is usually like this in the Okanagan Valley. Beautiful weather for racing and a beautiful circuit here at Area 27. The Jacques Villeneuve designed course. Trevor Siebert also involved with the design process of this, helping build the racetrack. As Jesse Webb sitting in second there, just got a glimpse. Going off over that hump is Riley Siebert into the hairpin right now. Number 64 car, which was driven by Kevin Dowler in the first race. Griffin Dowler climbing behind the wheel at the mid part of the pack, and that 64 car is Trevor Siebert trying to put the pressure on now with the 31 of Mark McIntosh, who has slipped back a spot. And speaking of McIntosh, Siebert is in a McIntosh family sandwich as the 12 car of Mark McIntosh putting the pressure back on Adam Dowler. 53 car back out on track, but you got to imagine that Trevor is going to be looking in his rear view mirror a whole lot there, Joe.
He'd be looking there a ton as the race continues to unfold. There you go, the 12 car. That is Sean McIntosh making the move on the 69 of Trevor Siebert. Rolling his way towards the front. If a yellow flag comes out here, I'll tell you what, this is going to change the complexion of this race. Undoubtedly, as the teams are all in their lines running, and really nobody's getting away from the other. The only exception to that rule right now is the 09 car of Riley Siebert. Man, he's had a great race, and it looks like it's continuing.
Well, you mentioned that yellow flag. That's something that Riley Siebert definitely does not want, as he's put together pretty much a picture-perfect race at this point in the 09 car, and you're getting a shot of some of the drivers back behind him. Jesse Webb, Noel Dowler, Cameron Haley making inroads on Noel in the number 42 car. Cameron back in the fourth spot. Mark McIntosh in the 31, holding down the final spot in the top 5. Just as I say that, there goes Sean McIntosh inside of the top 5, Joe. He is wheeling that number 12 car up through the field.
Yeah, whoa, as Dowler goes for a twirl now. Is this going to be the yellow flag? Yeah, and he gets the car rolling again. Green flag stays out.
Well, that's a lucky break for Riley Siebert. You can see a little bit of dirt being put down on the racetrack as Dowler rejoins, and a tough break there for Noel, who was running in that third spot. So there is Sean McIntosh up a position, followed by Mark McIntosh. Trevor Siebert closing in on the number 31 machine. Sheldon Mayer back there towards the tail end of the field in the 6 car, with Lee Howard in the 66 in front of him. Those 2 drivers running nose to tail in a battle for position back in the pack. Indo Siebert in the 16 car. Ken Mostowich, the 96, Brian Weaver back there. Mark McIntosh starting to kick the tail out in the 31 car there, Joe. You got to wonder, maybe he used up his tires a little bit in that first race here this afternoon at Area 27.
Yeah, things would tend to get a little bit loosened up when those tires start getting worn out. They'll definitely let you know when you're over driving things and when they want to get cooled off a wee bit. Cole, I want to point at a driver now that has also caught my eye and a lot of fans' eyes that follow the RS1 Cup Series. That 01 car of Heriniak really has had a decent year, making good forward progress again, even in this race. I got to put it out to Jack. He's done a great job. Top 10 right now.
And Jack, another one of the drivers that didn't really have too much racing experience before that, but making his presence known, as unfortunately the number 96 car pulling into the pits right now. Brian Weavers with some problems, so tough break there for Brian. Hopefully they can get that sorted out, and Brian can rejoin with the field as Riley Siebert continuing to lead. And really, that gap is not closed in any with Jesse Webb, but Joe, for the last few laps, he hasn't really got any bigger either.
No, they're sort of holding pace right now. Like mentioned before, that yellow flag would be huge if it happened to come out. Riley praying to the racing gods, just give me a few more laps here under green. Of course, the championship, the Super Seal Championship, is a lock right now. We know now the champion for the series is the 09 of Riley Siebert, and a well-deserved championship on his behalf. It'll be great to hear what he has to say. He's going to be one happy guy inside that race car. Just needs a few more nice, calm laps out front, and then maybe he'll jump out and pick some grapes.
I saw Mark McIntosh, just as we were chatting about that, Joe, took a very wide line, but actually got a better drive off to hold Trevor Siebert back behind him. As another look at Sheldon Mayer and Lee Howarth at the tail end of the pack, still engaged in their battle for position. As Riley Siebert clicking off laps at the front, Cameron Haley has been steadily closing in on Jesse Webb in that 94 car, so we'll have to see if Cameron Haley can make his presence known in the 42 machine. And another guy that would like the field to get bunched up is the hard charger of the race so far to this point, Sean McIntosh, has been up on the wheel, working his way up into the number 4 position. Again, with that miscue from Noel Dowler, spinning out the 35. Dowler currently sitting back in the 7th position, back from 3rd, which he held since the start of the race up until that mistake. So Riley Siebert, what do you think Riley's thinking in the cockpit right now? It is fairly warm, but actually a little bit below what it usually is in the Okanagan at this time of year. So is Riley kind of getting hot in the cockpit at this time, Joe, or is he still pretty relaxed at this point?
I don't know. The temperatures out here, you know, if it isn't 30 degrees Celsius for U.S. Viewers, that is somewhere around 85 degrees. If it isn't that way out here, then it's considered a cool day. I can well imagine Riley's going, it's a perfect temperature. As long as, well, I would have to say if the 94 car was on him, he'd be hearing sounds like he's never heard inside that 09. But right now, everything's nice and comfortable. And away he goes.
I just saw Joe at the corner stations. They were waving double yellow flags, which in road racing means we've got ourselves a full course yellow. So I think we might have announcers cursed Riley Siebert, and you might be cursing us after this one, because this race is back in business and is back closed up. Still haven't seen the cause of the yellow at this moment as you get a look at some of the cars that will have to close back in on the pack. But again, full course yellow coming out here to tighten things up. And Riley Siebert, Joe, will have the entire pack behind him for this one, right on his bumper.
And there is the cause for the caution. The 96 car is kind of tucked himself right in between the wall and that short chute as it is, and we'll get this field bunched back up. But you got to know the 94 car of Jesse Webb, he is licking his chops right now going, okay, what did I learn in race number 1? I got to hit the shift. I don't want to miss it. If he can nail it, what can happen on this green flag? This is going to be an interesting, this will be the restart of all restarts for 2022, if you ask me, Cole.
It will be a great restart. You know, Joe, we've been mentioning here Area 27, 4 kilometers of road course, and it is a beautiful facility.
Now, Cole, I had a chance earlier this morning to catch up with the driver of that 09 Super Seal Chevrolet, Riley Siebert, our current points leader. Let's get Riley to take us around on a lap. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, so I got to, I got to be a pretty big part of the construction of this thing, and it's kind of special. It gives you a bit of a different view of the track, just because you know every square inch of it from building it. So there's a lot of muscle memory, and I can definitely talk through it from memory because of the amount of laps I've done here and being so close. So turn one is just super important to get back to the gas early. You got the longest straightaway on the entire place after turn 1, and that's where you're going to really gain the most mile an hour
getting out of the corner rapidly and get some mile an hour down the straightaway for time and for position. And then turn 2, you get down in there, and I'm still flirting with the braking zone in 2 and the exit where to see where the maximum line is, you know. And then you come down into 3, and 3 is really, really tight, really flat. You really have to caress the car through there because you can really lose it under braking there, packing all that speed from turn 2. And then so once you come out of 3 and you got kind of a double corner coming with the 4 or 5 combination, and getting into 4 is relatively simple, but getting through 5 is super complicated because you got a bit of a double apex diamond, and then down into 6, which is a super high speed, lots of G-load corner, up into 7. 7's another double apex. Again, the car kind of floats through that corner, so lots of flirting with the physics on that one to get the thing to kind of slide the way you want it so you can get back into gas. Turn 8 seems simple, but it's a bit of a psychological one, I should say, because the wall's so close. You think you don't have much room to run there, and then up over 9 is very, very blind, and you have to be very disciplined to get to the left to set up for 10. Out of 10 and up through 11, the ski jump, some people call it, because a lot of people have gone for a little bit of a loop through there. You got to pack a lot of speed. Car gets super light, hard into the straight line braking for 12. 12 is a very, very tight corner, and then you got a nice long straightaway in the infield there between 12 and 13. 13 super fast, just a light break into 13.
Okay, Brandon, get ready. That car's coming back to the pit.
And then into 14. 14, a lot of people wheel hop into 14 because they try to dive it in there and they shift too fast, and it's just one of those spots where you see a lot of spin outs. Out of 14 through the 15, 16 combination, and it's a real quick right, left, and then a gear shift between them, and out onto the front straightaway. And again, trying to pack as much speed you can there out to get to the flag stand, and then down into 1 again to set up properly.
Cole, just need to point something out here. Now, I know the 66 Howarth, that TD Financial car, is getting in position for the lucky dog, the free pass. And you know the rule allows him to get ahead of the pace car before we go back to green, and he'll get his lap back. The only problem with it is, Cole, I don't believe anyone in the field right now is a lap down. This will be an error in scoring, and it happens. Even though it's electronic scoring, things do get messed up every now and then. But Lee's going to be some hot inside that 66 TD car right now. He's a great wheelman. You can bet that he is going to be driving just that much faster coming through the field as we go back to green. Just thought I'd point that out. So the lights are out atop the pace car. The beautiful yellow Camaro, the Avion Motorsports Chevy Camaro, will head to the safety and the field. Cole, here we go. All doubled up. The biggest restart, I would say, well, definitely today, as the cars go side by side, looking for that green flag. Let's see what the 94 cars got for the 09 now.
And Jesse Webb will be anticipating this start. You can see him hanging back, trying to get a run around the outside as they work their way into the first turn. And Cameron Haley will also look to pick up a position, wiggling under braking. On the inside of Jesse Webb, Mark McIntosh, Sean McIntosh. Ooh, Trevor Siebert making contact with Mark McIntosh. Almost hopping his wheel as there is Jesse Webb right beside the number 09 of Riley Siebert. Here on lap number 8 is Webb way out wide. Oh, look at Sean McIntosh with Mark McIntosh. There's so many McIntoshes here. It's an announcer's dream, Joe Chisholm. As the 12 car will get to the inside of the 31 for that 4th spot. Trevor Siebert still battling with the 31 machine is Jesse Webb keeping the 09 of Riley Siebert on, is still tucked right in behind. Oh, Cameron Haley getting racy. Now the contact and the action is really ramping up, Joe.
Oh, these guys are putting a show on here today at Area 27. The 09 car just gets a little bit of an advantage and does get a little bit of clean air. But I'll tell you, Jesse Webb is under fire. The not the 24, the 12 of Sean McIntosh, side by side with Cameron Haley as they battle for that 3rd spot. Looks like Sean's going to get a little bit of an advantage, but it may be short-lived.
And Cameron's keeping the pressure on, and that cabinet's by Haley 42. right with him, and Webb almost stacking up the pack behind him there. You can see Jesse in second, then it's Sean McIntosh, Cameron Haley, Mark McIntosh, the 69 of Trevor Siebert back there as well, as Jesse Webb now has Sean McIntosh to the inside, muscling his way through. Sean really not caring about the backup car in this one. He wants to get up to the front, and he wants a piece of Riley Siebert here in these waning laps of this second race, Joe, as Sean McIntosh has fought his way up to second and is now in hot pursuit of the 09 car for the race lead.
Oh, yeah. They don't need these cars tomorrow, I can tell you that. This is going to be a long off-season. They're getting their money's worth here today, and so are we taking this race in. The 09 car of Riley Siebert out front, and now the 12 car of Sean McIntosh is in that second spot. Remember what happened in race number 1. There was some contact. I'm not saying it was intentional, but it was there. And I can guarantee you, Sean McIntosh has not forgot what happened about an hour ago.
A little bit of a dust cloud back there in the back. One car going off, but we will stay green. As Riley Siebert, who we were mentioning didn't want that yellow, well, that's exactly what happened, and that has given Sean McIntosh the chance to try and close the gap in the 12 car to the 09, as Riley Siebert is just a few minutes away from getting the championship win completely covered in this series. Jesse Webb back there in third. There's Jason White. Look at some of the cars towards the tail end of the field after that restart. Again, everybody getting bottlenecked up. That was the tail end of the top 10, as Sean McIntosh is getting closer on Riley Siebert through that sweeping downhill left-hander. Trevor Siebert back at the tail end of the pack there with the top 5 or 6 cars looking out in front of him as Cameron Haley closes in on Jesse Webb, the 42 car. And Joe Chisholm, Riley Siebert trying to hang on to this one, and Sean McIntosh is up on the wheel with the bit between his teeth.
Oh, yeah, he has elbows up, you can guarantee it. I would really like to know, when they go over that rise, Cole, how light those RS1 Cup cars get. If you'd have a way of weighing them at that particular point. In talking with Trevor Siebert, of course, the designer and the builder of this speedway, he said, man, oh man, does it get your attention when you go over that rise? It'd be so interesting, but I can tell you, these guys are getting a ride like they're at Canada's Wonderland on steroids.
It is a roller coaster ride around Area 27. The man that is in front of the ride, so to speak, getting the white flag, is Riley Siebert in the number 09, as he'll head into that first turn. And over the course of that last lap, Sean McIntosh not quite closing in as quickly as he would have wanted, Joe, so still some breathing room in between the 09 of Siebert and the 12 of McIntosh as they work their way through. But unlike a short lap at Penticton Speedway, there's still a lot that can come into play.
About 13 corners left in this 16-corner beautiful facility out here in Oliver, BC, called Area 27. The 09 Super Seal Chevrolet of Riley Siebert is in the lead of this one. He is the champion. He's about to get crowned the champion. And what a day for Riley. If he can pull the win off here, he set fast time. He won race number 1, and he is about to win race number 2 and take home the big dough in the series, as the 53 car is also heading down pit road there, bud.
Unfortunately, couldn't hang on there for Adam Dowler in those waning laps, as out in front, the 09 of Riley Siebert. Jesse Webb coming under pressure late in this one from Cameron Haley, but up in front, Sean McIntosh pedaling hard to try and close the gap. Unfortunately, it looks like in these final few sets of corners, it might be too little too late. Don't tell Sean that, because he is still charging, trying to make a move or pounce if Riley Siebert makes a mistake in the last few stages of this one. Jesse Webb back there in the third spot. Get a look at your top 2 as they head through that final straightaway that leads into the S section, the uphill bends that brings them back out onto the front straight to get the checkered flag. And Joe Chisholm, Riley Siebert, just a few corners away from that race win.
And how many times is Sean McIntosh going to be the second spot, or the bridesmaid, so to speak? It's got to be disheartening for him. It's been a good season for Sean, but I'll tell you, not really indicative of all the potential that driver has for winning. As the checkered flag flies, the 09 car wins today's final in the RS1 Cup Series.
There is Sean McIntosh pulling alongside to congratulate Riley Siebert on the race win in the Super Seal number 09. And Joe Chisholm, pretty much a mistake-free race from Riley in the 09, and a well-deserved win at the end of this one.
When you earn it, you really, really enjoy it. And Riley Siebert has earned this title. He has earned his way to the top of the heap. When I look at all the different competitors across Canada and successes that have gone from Newfoundland all the way to British Columbia, I can tell you the driver that's in the center of your screen, right there, the 09 car of Riley Siebert, that guy has had probably the best season out of any competitor right across Canada. That guy has really done a lot of winning, a lot of great racing.
Getting a rundown right now of the field as the drivers on the cool-down lap. The final cool-down lap of the 2022 season, and Riley Siebert getting the win. How about Sean McIntosh in the number 12 car, again driving up through the field in second? Joey mentioned again being the bridesmaid. Unfortunately, racing luck not on Sean's side here, but kind of ending the season how he started it. Had problems in the first RS1 Series race of the season, came back and won the second twin at the season opener. Fortunately, couldn't quite get the win this afternoon in the 12 car, but still a valiant effort there. Jesse Webb, who's had a very impressive season in his first year behind the wheel of a stock car, back there in third. Cameron Haley in fourth, was pressuring Jesse all throughout those final few laps from the restart. Mark McIntosh, the 31, rounding up your top five as the field has almost made its way back to pit road. And Joe, the one thing that really impresses me is some of the drivers that maybe aren't quite from either a stock car racing background or really even a racing background, stepping up here with solid performances throughout the season.
Yeah, so many good competitors and so many new names that we've been introduced this year. When you look at 2023, man, you know the work is all starting for 2023. In about, I don't know, maybe an hour, things are going to start gelling for the new season. And the plans and the works from Avion Motorsports perspective is well underway for 2023 and has been for probably half this season, getting prepared for next year. But look at what we've seen this year in RS1 Cup competition. It's been amazing. This is my first full year of RS1. I'll tell you what, if you're not tuned into this, you will be. And 2023 is going to be huge.
It will be a huge year. There is Riley Siebert for the second time this afternoon, climbing out of the winning number 09 car, finishing off his season in style in the Super Seal machine, as Riley finally getting a chance to rest up down there in victory lane. And here comes Dad Trevor in for a congratulatory hug. Riley's even going to pick up Dad as Trevor celebrating with his son down there in the, well, temporary victory lane here at Area 27. The head of pit road works good enough as we'll get a word with Riley Siebert.
You know, I came into this weekend with a plan of conservation, actually, was because the big picture was to win the championship. I had 8 points on Sean coming in here, and it was really important to really focus on the big picture. And so, like qualifying, I really couldn't let him get too much ahead of me. He's usually super quick here and usually sets it on pole. And I don't know, I dug a little deeper and found a little extra speed today and stuck it on pole, so that gave me another point on him, brought it to 9-point spread. The car ran great, ran solid, and I got myself in that zone that I needed to be in to make it happen. And I came home with 2 wins to round out the year and win 50% of the races this year, with 2 coming on the road course and 3 coming on the oval.
don't know, it feels great. Opened up the year with the big win at the Rattler with the $10,000 check there, and we're closing the year off with a $10,000 check in the RS1 series. So it said at the Rattler, it's a culmination of 15 years of trying. It's finally all coming together, you know, driving, the mental game, the cars and stuff like that, and just finally, yeah, it's working out for me here.
And the congratulatory handshake with the 94 car and the 09. That youngster, the 94 car of Jesse Webb, learned a ton this year. Here he is.
Okay, buddy, you were defending and fighting for that whole last race, all day. You've been really pushing to keep your place out here. How does it feel to come out third in that second race?
I'm happy with third, honestly. I'm really happy with that one because we did have a cutting out issue. The car was just dying a little more than normal. Usually the cars have a little bit of a sputter, but this one, like, the car was really wanting to go on me. So really happy to hold that third place, and Haley was right on me. You know, I practiced my defensive driving this weekend, and you know, we move forward and learn and move on.
How much have you learned in this series, and will we expect to see you next year?
Well, I've definitely learned a lot because it's totally different than a Sentra. You know, you got more power. There's more to worry about, this and that, and tires are completely different. So it's a total different car to what I'm used to, and so I really learned a lot this season on how to manage this car. Tire management was a big thing in this series because you have to run the same set throughout the whole weekend. So, you know, it was definitely a good learning experience for me, and we'll see about next year. You know, I don't know yet, but I'm not gonna say you won't see me back here next year.
Yeah, I speak for everyone when I say good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Well, Jesse Webb, again, a big first season in the RS1 series season, and still a few more drivers to catch up with down on pit road. What a great race to finish out the year, and there's Noel Dowler.
Oh, great season. We're not sure where I shook out in points, third, fourth. We got 2 wins on the year. Not the best luck at Area 27. We had 3 mechanical failures out of the 4 races, but looking towards next year, it's going to be a great season and fight for a championship next year.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the mechanical issues you were seeing today.
Today I broke an axle on about lap 7. It took me out of the race and DNF for the day.
Not the way you want to see it go.
No, never.
Overall, though, season kind of highlights, thoughts overall?
Yeah, no, it's been a great year. We did some traveling with Saskatchewan, got a win there, win on the oval, but I'd like to get a win on the road course for next year.
Well, there's Noel Dowler with some of his goals for the 2023 season, and here's Sean McIntosh, who had to drive up through the field.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You know, coming from the back, I knew it was going to be a challenge, and that full course caution really helped me out. And just want to give a big congrats to Riley in 09. He did an awesome job all year and really dominated this weekend. And congrats on the championship.
Awesome. Last 3 laps there, we got a full course caution. What was your mindset going into the green flag?
It was just to pick off as many as I could, right? I was hoping to get to Riley, but we were a little bit more even probably. So really just wanted to get by Cameron and Jesse and maximize the day and at least have some fun out there.
One last question. What was your expectations hopping in Elisa's car?
You know, I think it shows you how even these cars are, right? Like, had to adjust the seat belts and the steering wheel and off you go. And it feels, you know, relatively the same.
That is a genuine smile out of Sean McIntosh. What a guy to have in this series. There'll be a lot of competitors that look up to Sean McIntosh.
And Sean, as you heard him mention, saying that those cars are exactly the same and pretty much identical. He hopped in Lisa's car and didn't really notice much of a difference.
No, didn't notice much of a difference, but man, we sure did watching him come through the field. That 12 car, it really did an incredible job. Sean McIntosh, the real deal.
As we get a look at some of the awards here for the RS1 Series season, Al Liebert getting ready to hand out some of the hardware just underneath of the Avion Motorsports awning.
Okay, we'll get started. First thing I need to say to all the drivers is that was truly amazing today. We put on one heck of a show today, so great job, everybody. All right, for our Cup Championship, in 3rd place, Trevor Siebert.
I beat Noel? Oh, well, all right then. That was a surprise. I thought Noel won. Are you sure?
Positive.
I'll take it. Yeah. One old guy.
In second place, we have Sean McIntosh. And our winner of our 2022 Avion Super Seal RS1 Cup Series with 5 victories, Riley Siebert.
Riley Siebert, there is the announcement. Riley Siebert, your champion for 2022. And, well, if that wasn't official before, now it's officially official because Riley's got the trophy in his hand. He's also got a $10,000 check from the folks at Super Seal as well to nicely pad the bank account, as Riley Siebert will get that big check in hand as well. So congratulations to Riley. Ran a great season, had probably his year to remember in racing and all forms of racing, Joe, as he's been very experienced in a variety of different cars.
He sure has. And what about the support? Super Seal jumping behind this series. Man, it's so great to see. Sure hope they're back for 2023. They just incredible to see the support of Super Seal and all their associates as the corks are going to fly. Yeah, look at the son getting dear old dad and soaking him down.
Well, that answers the question of are they actually going to spray it? I think there you go. Some celebration under the awning down there besides the Avion Motorsports hauler.
I just want to say on behalf of Avion Motorsports, the whole team, guys worked their asses off again this year, and the gals. So can we give them a cheer? Give the team a cheer? Okay. Even though he's not here, big cheer for Super Seal. Okay. And again, I want to thank all the drivers, both classes. I'm so proud of this series, what it's become and what it's becoming. I will say, you know, we're going through a lot of challenges with growing pains and stuff like that. I think everybody's recognized it. I hope everybody sees the successes that have happened as well at the same time. And I'm really looking forward to a big year next year. I think it's a testament to what we're building here, and everybody's a big part of that, and I hope I see all the faces back here next year. I really like seeing some of the younger drivers we have coming into the field here, and I don't mind getting beat up by you guys. It's not going to happen all the time, but I think it's great. It's part of why Al and I built this series, is to get costs of racing down, get the quality of the racing up, and the cost of the racing down. And I think we've succeeded in that. We can get average people, if you will. I put myself certainly in that class to be able to come and enjoy the sport without just being a bunch of rich kids, if you will. Us older guys kind of worked all our lives. We can kind of afford to write the check, but a lot of the younger people don't have that opportunity, and that's why we built this thing. And so it's kind of cool to see a lot of young people up here getting the wins. That's what we're doing this for. So. And that's about all I have to say. So we'll be in touch with everybody. I think Al talked about the winter series we want to put together. Stuff we'll be talking to everybody about that. But yeah, enjoy the evening.
Great job, you guys. Great job.
Joe, some drivers that have stood out to you over the season. We already touched on, you know, Sean McIntosh, Riley Siebert, but I think just a reflection on them again as a great year that they've had over the course of the 2022 season.
And Jesse Webb in the 94 car, he's got to be one of those successes with a win on weekend number 1, along with the 24 car of Sean McIntosh picking up a win. That's how the season got started out. It was an amazing year.
It was an amazing year, and, you know, Trevor mentioned some of the younger drivers. Jesse Webb is one of those young drivers that is making his way and his name known throughout Canada with this RS1 series, and hopefully we see Jesse back in contention. He's definitely got a few lessons learned, but I mean, if third is one of your worst finishes on a road course for the year, you've had a pretty solid season up until this point.
I would say. And then off to Saskatoon for the first time. These guys had never raced there, especially in an RS1 Cup Series car. And who do we have in Victory Lane? A crafty veteran, Noel Dowler, goes to Victory Lane. And there is the 09 of Riley Siebert. He got his first win in the RS1 Cup Series for 2022 at Saskatoon.
And that started out Riley Siebert's role here in 2022. Joe, some closing thoughts here before we wrap up the broadcast.
I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and I know on Racetime Radio, which I kind of do weekly, I'm heavy on it. I'm not doing that for any other reason than this is the real deal. There's a lot of great racing coast to coast in this country, but the RS1 Cup Series, I've not seen a series that has jumped a whole pile of notches on the ranking to get right up to the top like the RS1 Cup Series. It's growing fast, and it's the real deal. Hey, Canadian racing's looking pretty good, Cole.
Not looking too bad at all. Well, for everybody at RS1 and Avion Motorsports, we say thank you for watching, as well as our TV provider with Rev TV. Big thanks to the crew for putting together all these broadcasts throughout the 2022 season. We hope to see you all in 2023 for another exciting year of RS1 Cup Series action.